Welcome to another episode of Out of the Pods. I'm Deepti.
And I'm Natalie, and welcome back, Deepti.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to be like, welcome back, Pod Besties. And I was like, wait, where did we go?
I guess not really welcome back because our last episode was still in the same spot.
Yes,
but
it
you
was.
were in Hawaii for a week. So
Yes.
I haven't seen her, and she came back today.
I can't believe I literally was on a flight like 3 hours ago.
That's so crazy. I was like, are you sure you want to record today? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, let's
just
get it
gonna
over
do
with.
Let's get it over with.
Meaning like I wanted to, instead of like being tired the next day, I'm like, okay, you know what? Sometimes being a little bit jet lagged and tired just makes you feel out of body. And so you just act a little weird. I'm like, that could be fun for an episode.
Like you're on a high.
Yeah, you're on like a high and you're like sleep deprived.
No, 100%. Actually, you're totally right. I feel like sometimes when I'm really sleep deprived,
Yes.
I have the most energy.
Yes.
When you're like, I just got to pull through.
Yeah, you're just acting crazy. And I'm like, what are my thoughts right now? They're not like in line and in formation with my normal self. Oh my gosh, can I tell you what happened to me on this flight? Okay, so I was supposed to have nobody sitting next to me, but weirdly, there were 17 standbys ready for this flight. I'm like, how is there
that a
17?
lot?
It's a lot. Normally, you see like 1 to 2, maybe 3
I guess
tops.
I don't really know.
It was insanity. But there was a girl sitting next to me. It was all girls in my row. And she ended up being a standby. But every single time the flight attendant handed me something, it fell on her lap. Like the first thing was like the little earbuds. I hate the earbuds, but I needed them for like in-flight entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Fell onto her lap. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. First of all, not my fault. And then second, when they were doing drinks, like the cup fell on her. The entire ice water cup
Oh my God, wait, fell into her lap?
fell into her lap. And she's like, what the hell? And then thirdly, when they brought out the food, there was like this little cracker thing and it fell on her. And I texted Chrissy, my friend that I went with. We both are window people. So we're like, we're not sitting in the middle seat.
Yeah.
So she was like,
we're not sitting next to each
no,
other. Yeah.
which I love friendships like that where I'm like, okay, cool. We know what we like and we're going to stick with
100%.
it. She was a few rows behind me. I texted her and I'm like, dude, I'm dying. Like, I swear if I drop this tray when they come around to pick something up, like I'm going to be so mortified because this girl hates me.
Was it your fault or was it the flight attendant's?
It was a little bit of both because, like it's the handoff.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
yeah.
am I shaky? Am I tired? But I was like, if one more thing falls on her, I literally need to just disappear into my blanket. I felt so bad. I was like, oh no.
Especially when you're a super considerate person, which I feel like you and I are to a fault though. We are like so aware and making sure everyone around us is just like comfortable. I don't know, like we are it's just, are people like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like we're like that where we're like just super aware of the
Yes.
people around us and making sure we are polite and considerate.
Absolutely.
That would kill me
Oh, it was so
inside.
bad. I'm too considerate to the point where I'm like, oh, she's sleeping. I don't want to bother her to get up for the bath. I did not get up one time in the 8-hour flight to go to the bathroom. Could never be you.
Could never be me.
No, you're probably an aisle girl.
Okay, I don't want to share this because so many people diagnose me with like medical issues.
The IBS is real.
The IBS is real, but I remember one time I got a DM being like, hey, I listened to one of your episodes and I think that you might have Hashimoto's. And I was like, oh, what makes you say that? And then one person,
Where'd they find that? WebMD?
I was like, huh? And then one person said that it looked like I had increased hair growth on my face and they diagnosed me with something and I forget what it was. But I was like, huh?
I do have to say it is considerate of our pod besties or random people watching that do comment on certain things because they're like, in the medical field and they're like, the way your neck is like, there's like a lump, you should go check that out. Like there is some like positive things with that, but there's also a balance and a line.
Yeah, like you start thinking like, oh my gosh, like I have increased hair growth on my face. And how do you see it in our bad quality camera?
I know. I was like, half the time it's not even focused on us.
Or like people will point out like moles and they're like, you didn't have this in episode 3, but you do have it in episode 72.
Dude.
And so like, you got to get checked for skin cancer. And I was like, oh my God.
I do have to say, pod besties are very, very observant.
Yes. I don't mind people sharing it. Like, obviously, people are concerned, and you're totally right. I think people do it out of like concern.
Yeah.
But me being a hypochondriac, it takes me into a spiral on WebMD.
I'm sure you're like, when's the next available appointment?
Ever since starting this podcast, I've never gone to the doctor more.
I'm sure. Me on the opposite side, I'm like, I'm fine. I don't care.
You know, when you advocate for yourself, but you advocate for yourself a little too much, like the doctor's like, hey, we did your blood panel. Like, you're fine. You don't have this thing. And I was like, do it again.
Yeah, you're Gucci. I'm like, are you
advocating for myself, but do it one more time.
A pod bestie said I have this.
And then I'll go for like a second or third opinion. And like, you know, I'm paying up the wazoo. But anyways, so going back to not wanting to share this, I use the bathroom every hour.
Oh.
Sometimes every 45 minutes.
Nope. This is why I could never sit by someone like you on an airplane. Yeah. And that's why I picked the window seat.
No, I am an aisle girl. I would love to be a window seat girl.
I am such a window seat girl.
I would love to just see the clouds as I fly. I would love to look down at the city that I'm about to land in. No, I can't. I would be a menace to the people in the middle and aisle seat if I sat at a window. So I'm an aisle seat girl. I absolutely use the bathroom every hour on every flight I've been on.
Hate airplane bathrooms. You could not get me to go in an airplane bathroom. Sometimes even when I go to India,
I mean, I don't have a choice.
19-hour flight. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm Gucci.
I don't know. I have this thing about, I'm like against being dehydrated. I just don't like the feeling of being like, you know, that like dry breath you get? I don't like that.
I know what you mean. I like to be prepped for sure, where I'm in a window seat. I have my water. I'm not like waiting around for the flight attendants to bring it around. I have my snacks. Like, I'm not paying anything extra on flight. I'm just like in my comfortable little seat.
And how come you don't use the bathroom during flights?
I just don't like to. I just feel so
you
like
just hold it in.
Constricted. I usually don't have to go. I don't like drink too much before I go on the flight. I always use the bathroom like 3 to 4 times before I even go. I'm like, I'm good. And you know what's funny? My friend Chrissy, who I went on this trip with, is the same way. She did not get up one time either.
I have trained my bladder that like, oh yeah, it's okay to go even when you don't have like a full bladder, you know?
Yes.
So I think that's what...
You've trained your bladder to be accessible to a bathroom like every half hour.
And I think it really started during COVID. Like when we were working from home. Yes. So I was like, I could go to the bathroom whenever I want.
Yeah.
Like,
what a luxury.
I know. I could go like 2 seconds before this meeting. Like, who cares? You know, whatever. I'm not one of those people where I'm like, I shouldn't drink water because like I'm about to go on a road trip in like 45 minutes. No, like I will chug water. And also, I think I have a really big throat, like esophagus. Have you ever seen me like drink water or like a smoothie?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've never noticed your enlarged esophagus.
Have you seen how big my gulps are? Like, I can finish a glass of water in like 5 seconds.
Same. But what?
No, like it's just natural.
What does that have to do with?
Because it's just like what I do. You know how people take like sips?
Yes.
Like I just naturally like like that is me.
Yeah. I've definitely trained and prepped my body to know when to, like, even when I go to music festivals, I make sure I don't need to go to the bathroom because who's using a porta potty?
Me?
I can't do that shit. Nope. Nope.
I don't, you know, I sometimes I do. I used to care about like the bathroom conditions. I was like, there's some bathrooms I won't use, but now I'm like, you know what? Every hour.
Who cares?
I was like, you know, you just got to do what you got to do.
I'm done. I know. I'm surprised you're not like pausing this podcast episode being like, 1 second. Yeah. I'll be back.
Well, I did use the bathroom before we started recording. I've got an hour. But anyways, how was Hawaii? Because everything you posted on Instagram looked so amazing, because also it was so dreary here in Chicago. That I was like, oh my gosh, like how do I go to Hawaii right now? Like I was so jealous.
Honestly, okay, normally I always try to plan for a birthday trip, like a little getaway.
Yeah.
I'm just one of those people that just likes to...
You don't want to celebrate here.
Yeah.
Not with a big crowd.
No, I definitely don't. I don't love to be the center of attention like that and like get all my friends together and like sing happy birthday. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. So I love to like plan a little trip. And honestly, nothing was panning out. I like wanted to go to Costa Rica. I had all these thoughts, but randomly my friend Chrissy messages me and she's like, I have flight credit that I need to use by the end of the month. Like, does anybody want to do something? No one else in the friend group wanted to. And I was like, wait a minute, that's my birthday week. Like, should we go do something? Me and Chrissy, my friend that I went with, we have never hung out one-on-one together. Like, it's always been in a group where someone else was always there. And we both were like, let's just do it. Who cares? We know we like get along.
Yeah. You both have easy personalities.
Easy personalities. But the weird thing is, like, obviously going to travel with somebody is so different than just like going out to dinner here in Chicago. Like, that one-on-one time is so intimate and personal.
Totally.
Like, you're sharing the same room. Travel companions are a different breed, I feel like, you know what I mean?
I feel like they can make or break a friendship. Like,
absolutely.
If you have a really hard trip with a friend, like, you might just be like, I don't want to be friends with them anymore.
Absolutely. And like, I'm the type of person who's like a chameleon, like kind of adapts to whatever other people want to do. It's never like
flow.
Very, very go with the flow. And I'm never like, oh my gosh, this is something I really want to do. We have to go sit by the pool. We have to go lay on the beach, that kind of thing. And Chrissy's the exact same way, where she's very go with the flow. We literally booked our hotel 2 days before we got to Hawaii. Could never be you.
Okay. Could never be me. I feel like I'm go with the flow with people on trips, but like the things like hotel, like tickets to go see like some sort of attraction, like it's got to be done months in advance.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Even my sister's the same way. And like I was telling her, like, come to Costa Rica with me. And she's like, nah, like I need like at least like 3 weeks notice.
I know. I can't just get up and go.
Yeah.
Like I have to plan it for like weeks.
Yes. And so I'm super happy that I found this type of friendship in Chrissy though, because literally we talked about it. We're like, oh, anytime you want to do something, just text me and we'll book it. But we booked our flight literally like 4 days before. And then we booked our hotel probably 2 days before, and nothing else was planned. I know. But I knew that would make you super anxious. Yeah.
I mean, like, think about, like, you are so spontaneous. And I think that's what makes you and I so different.
I know.
But I love
type B, type A, for sure.
But I love that you just kind of like booked in and just left.
And what was really lovely about it is every single day we woke up and we were like, what do you want to do today? And we both would sit there and be like, I don't know. What do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? I'm like, damn it.
That's why when you're too easygoing, it's like no one makes the decision.
Yes, that's why we like created a list and we're like, all right, let's go through our list.
Yeah,
we had the best freaking time ever.
Oh, it looked like it.
We went to like the botanical gardens. We're not like the sit at the beach and just like waste the day away. We went and did like lots of activities. Dude, I have to tell you, on my actual birthday, we went to this ranch where they filmed Jurassic Park, King Kong.
Oh, that's really cool.
It was so cool. And Jumanji, like with Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful place I've ever seen in the world. Oh my goodness. And we're driving these UTVs. It starts raining. And we're like, let's be positive. Rain is auspicious. This is a good thing. And then towards the end, we're driving the UTVs. It's literally hurricane. There's like branches hitting us, leaves hitting us in our faces. My phone fell at one point. It was wild, but it was the best adventure ever. And it was so much fun. And I got a tattoo also.
Oh, yep. Deepti texted me and she's like, I got a tattoo. And I was like, we are the most different.
I know.
I was like, I just couldn't get a random tattoo, but it's so you.
I'm so excited for it. I'll show you. I'll show it on my Insta at some point once it heals. But there's this thing called a second skin on top to protect it right now. So it looks a little crazy. But both of us randomly were like, do you want to get a tattoo? And I was like, are you kidding me? I have never found such a compatible friend while traveling in my entire life. Like, I'm not even that compatible with my parents. It was amazing.
Now I'm imagining us traveling together.
I know.
I'd be like, you could get on your own.
Yeah, but you would be there supportive. You're like, I'll be there for you.
I already got one tattoo spontaneously in college, and it is my life's biggest regret.
I know. Isn't that funny? Wait, what is your spontaneous tattoo? Which one is it?
I just have one. It's on my back.
Oh, yeah. Duh. Yeah, I've seen this.
It's not, I wouldn't say lower back, but it's like middle back.
Oh, my gosh.
So when I wear a bra or like a swimsuit, you can't see it because the strap goes over the tattoo. And I did that on purpose because I didn't tell my parents at the time. They're like very much against tattoos.
Yep.
They ended up finding out. I think it was during the filming of Love Is Blind they found out.
Oh.
I think when my mom was zipping me up into my wedding dress, she was like, what the fuck?
Yes, yes.
But I forget. She was zipping me into something and she was like,
what is this?
And I was like, hee, I got a tattoo.
That's my first tattoo story too. I literally got it right out of college. First semester out of college.
Which one?
It's the small one on my back with the little heart and Aquarius symbol because clearly I put no thought behind that. I was like, I don't know, I just want a tattoo. I don't know what to get. And oh my gosh, I remember I went to India, and you know how when you put on a sari, like the lower tiny back part is the only part that shows.
Oh yes.
And my mom was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, that's a temporary tattoo. And she literally stared at me and she's like, this is not a temporary tattoo. You think I'm stupid? And I was like, I'm so sorry, Mom. And I totally forgot it was even there.
Same with this tattoo.
Yes.
Because I don't see it. It's, you know, when it's on your back, so you don't like really remember you have it.
Exactly.
I think your tattoo is actually really cute. Mine is super ugly. It was free-handed on my back at this like biker tattoo shop. It cost like $60, which is pretty cheap for the size that it is. I do want to get it removed.
No, it's cute.
So, okay. So I got the tattoo with my best friend. She got something else. She ended up getting hers removed, and I was going to get mine removed, but my company at the time, GE, was like moving me around so often that I was like, I don't like, when I stop moving is when I'll start. But now it's like, oh, it's like a memory.
Yeah, and it's a part of you.
Yeah.
It is a moment in time of like what you were thinking. But no, my second tattoo that I got had a lot of meaning to it. I love it. It's like on the back of my neck. And this one I was like, when Chrissy was like, do you want to get a tattoo? I was like, oh, you find something that has meaning. I'm like, oh, I'm getting this. Like it does not matter.
Put thought.
Oh
Yeah.
This one kind of represents like mind, body, soul, and like finding the balance between it all and kind of aligning your chakras. Plus it has this added thing of like, you know, I don't know if people have seen this before, if you have, but essentially when you water your mind, like there's plants coming out of it. So there's like a little flower coming out of it too.
That's cute.
I love how you laughed.
I know what you're talking about.
Like, yeah.
And I was like, it's so you.
It's so me.
But not me.
Yes.
But I do love the tattoo.
It's very spiritual.
It's very you. I also love that you wrote out of the pods.
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
No, just kidding.
I'm like, I wrote it in Sanskrit.
Can you imagine if it said out of the pod?
OOTP. If we don't get a little OOTP tattoo, I'm going to be sad.
I'm shocked it doesn't say Love
We
is
should
Blind
get it like on
Season
our
2.
foot or something. Love is Blind Season 2. If I ever got Love is Blind Season 2, please.
Oh, well,
please.
Remember, so
slap me.
After we finished filming, all the women, we talked about getting matching tattoos of a gold goblet.
Yes.
Imagine if we had a gold goblet tattooed on our body. That moment, I think, taught me like, I can't be spontaneous because then I'll live with so much regret.
Honestly, I'm spontaneous and I would be regretting the gold goblet.
And some of the women were talking about getting it under their under boob.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Or like on their shoulder behind the ear. And I was like, imagine.
Not behind the ear. That is so.
Because I went to Walmart and I saw those gold goblets on sale.
Oh, I know.
And I was like, imagine just having a tattoo of a gold goblet.
We get the gold goblet and the Love is Wine together. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really, I
do remember we were all thinking about getting a tattoo though. I'm kind of sad we didn't.
It was the gold goblet.
I completely forget that I have 2 tattoos on my back. That's why I wanted to get something that I could actually see. And you're gonna laugh at this. I texted my mom and I was like, I'm thinking about getting this tattoo. And at the time it was just like random designs. This woman, she's like, I really respect your decision in anything that you make, but I would really think twice about getting something permanent on your body. And I sent her the design after. I still haven't gotten a response from her on it. She has not texted me back. And
well, like, that is a response.
No response is a response. And I'm like, oh, wait till she sees it.
No response is definitely a response of disappointment.
I know. She's so disappointed. And I was like, you know what? As long as I get my sister's approval, I'm good. I'm happy with that. But no, she has not responded to me yet. And she is like texting in group texts and everything. And she's like, did you make your flight okay? I'm like, what about my tattoo, woman? Oh, well, it'll be interesting to see how she reacts.
I think she loves it. I feel like if she hated it, she would have been like, no.
Oh, it was too late because I already got it. And I sent her a picture of it already done. Whoopsie daisies.
She's probably like, whatever.
Also, I do want to give a little shout out to all of our Hawaii pod besties because I met so many of you guys out there. One specifically from this coffee shop that we went to every single day. It was so good. Honolulu Coffee. And I remember walking up to her and she's like, you're Deepti. I listened to your podcast. And it was so sweet.
Oh, I love that.
It just makes me so happy to meet our pod besties in real life. It makes me so happy.
It's my favorite thing ever because they'll be like, I'm a pod bestie. And I was like,
Yes.
I'm a pod bestie.
Yes. And one of them asked me if I fell in love with a surf instructor.
Did you?
No, but I did go to Pipeline Beach, which is one of the biggest waves that you see on these beaches. It's like 10 to 20 foot waves. It was absolutely
crazy.
Insane. And you can't even capture it on camera like I tried to, but there was a lot of surfers out there because there was like a surf competition going on. There were so many beautiful surfer men. And I was just like, oh my God.
And then you talk to them and they're like, I'm 21. And you're like, oh.
I didn't talk to any of them. I was like, nope, not happening. But when we go back to Hawaii, we'll try.
Yeah. I'd be like, let me find the older guy who's like, you know, he's not that risk taking out there, you know? And I was like, he's definitely in his 30s.
Yes. I definitely had a crush on one of them because I was like, oh, he's beautiful. And he was so good at surfing. I was just like, how do you move this way? Like I'm so amazed by it.
Oh my God, it's the best. I feel like I'm most attracted to people where they have like a really amazing skill set.
Yes.
Or like a really cool hobby.
Yes. Actually, me and Chrissy were talking about that this trip. I'm like, there were surfers, there was people who were like singing, playing the ukulele. And I was just like, wow, what is our skill set? I can't even sing. Like, I wish I had any skill. None.
Let me think. I'm really good at using the bathroom on a consistent basis.
You are good at training your bladder.
At 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you can find me in the bathroom.
My only skill set is, I'm compassionate. I have empathy. That's a good skill.
That's not a skill. That is a human emotion.
Thank you. I know. That's what that's all I can come up with.
I think what you're really, really good at is
I'm scared.
Choosing yourself.
I did that once. Yay!
And you did it well. You did it well,
We did it well.
I was proud of you.
I'm dead.
Pod besties, you know that I see my doctor so often, and it's for the smallest things that end up being nothing, but I like to be so on top of my health.
And I am the total opposite. I will push off my doctor's appointments because I always forget to even set them up. I'm too busy, or I think it'll heal itself on its own.
Then you should use ZocDoc. So ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. You can book appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across specialties. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. And once you find the right doctor, you can actually see their appointment openings and click a time slot that works for you to book a visit.
Okay, that sounds like I need this product and I will definitely use it. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/outofthepods to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/outofthepods. ZocDoc.com/outofthepods.
Did you see the new cast is revealed for the season? Season 8 is coming February 14th, pod besties. The trailers are always so juicy.
I don't think trailers are a good reflection of how the show will be because Netflix has just gotten really good at creating juicy trailers.
Yeah. After 8 seasons, they better be good at it.
Yeah. I went back and watched season 5's trailer. So season 5 of Love is Blind is my least favorite season of the Love is Blind franchise. I mean, is that a surprise?
No.
No one really liked Love is Blind season 5 either.
I couldn't even remember who's on season 5.
It was the Izzy, Stacy, Lydia, Milton season.
Houston.
Yeah, in Houston. It's not because of the people I don't like the season. It was just kind of boring and like some things just didn't make sense. Like, it, you know, and then they cut out Renee and Carter, who was supposed to be that big couple on the season.
Yes, yes.
So you could just tell like it was kind of missing that like pizzazz.
Yeah. But I'm not going to lie, season 8, obviously it's their 5-year anniversary, so I feel like it's going to be very juicy.
And it's a spring season.
According to Natalie's theory, spring seasons are way better than the fall seasons.
Yeah, because of the Emmy nominations.
But I do think that they really got me hooked because of the whole dialogue where one of the girls is like, my fiance or whoever she is in the reveal with, she's like, oh, I've seen him before. I think he knew exactly what he looked like. And I was like, you got me hooked, girl. I'll be tuning in. I was like, excuse me, what do you mean?
I want to know who this couple is. Do you think that they would have followed that couple though? Doesn't that defeat the purpose? But you know what? A lot of things defeat the purpose of Love Is Blind, so I never know.
At this point, I feel like they have to have some sort of unique storyline and to see how it plays out, because I feel like as the seasons go on, it feels very repetitive and redundant almost. Like different characters in different fonts, you know? Like that's kind of the feeling I get. So I'm hoping for a really good season.
Can I be honest? I know a lot of people have questions about this. Like if two people know each other in the pods, do they like end those dates? Like, or, you know, do they kick one of those cast members out? No, because Joey from our season of Love Is Blind, when we were talking, we realized we knew each other. Like we had mutual friends and we continued going on dates. Yeah. Obviously the producers knew Joey and I knew each other through mutual friends. Like we had seen each other at parties. Yes. But they still allowed those dates to continue.
Yeah. So mine was an opposite experience because I also knew somebody in the pods, Vito from our season. We went to Bradley together, our college. And I specifically remember telling my producer, because I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, they're going to cut me. So I told them immediately and they just like stopped putting us on dates together.
But is it because you didn't rank him high?
I'm not sure, but like he was on my roster. I did not rank him high. I don't know if he ranked me high, but like literally after the first day, I went to my producer and I was like, oh my gosh, I know Vito. And she was like, it's okay. Like, we'll just not put you guys on dates essentially. So that's kind of how mine played out.
I told my producers I knew Joey, but they continued letting us go on dates because we were in each other's top 4. And then Joey ended up breaking up with me because he obviously ended up getting engaged to Caitlyn at the end. But yeah, they just let it happen. They're, you know, like, whatever.
And this just proves, like, how did they not know that there's 2 people from the same college, like on on the cast? Like, talk about doing a background check, because I really think they did not care. Because I'm so surprised that they allowed that, because
they knew like you guys weren't each other's types.
Potentially, yeah. And they're like, who cares? And I guess it's season 2, so it's like,
you guys didn't graduate in the same year, right?
No, he was older.
Yeah. So maybe they thought like, oh, there's like, what are the chances?
In my opinion, they didn't think at all. They were just like, whatever.
When people say like, how come they don't do background checks on these cast members? It's really just a criminal background check.
Yeah, it's so simplistic.
That's it. Like making sure you don't have a felony. But they don't do a background check of like, oh, where did you go to college? Yeah. What type of person were you?
Yeah, they're not looking at mutual friends on Facebook or Instagram.
Exactly.
That's not their vibe.
Because this reminds me of what's happening on social media right now about one of the cast members on Love Is Blind season 8. There are people making TikToks that are going viral about how horrible the men are on this season's cast. And there's one particular woman, she has the TikTok handle, Hope You Find Your Dad. And she lives in Minnesota and she knows one of the men. Or I think she actually knows a few of them. And she's talking about how they're narcissistic. They show off that they, were on the show, like after they're done filming. They treat women horribly. They talk about women horribly. So she has created multiple TikToks about this. And then she calls out Netflix in these TikToks like, why are you casting these men who treat women horribly? Like, do your background checks. But I was like, there's no way that they could do a background check on personality and like dating history. But also, they love horrible men.
I was just about to say that. They live for this. Are you kidding me? And plus, I have to say, like, we went through quite a few rounds of interviews before getting chosen. It is not hard to pretend to be a type of person that you want to be. It's like dating. Like you can
like
put up a
job.
Facade. Yes.
It's like a job interview. It feels very formal. And I'm putting my best foot forward, being like, yes, absolutely. I'm so nice.
Yeah.
And I just want to find love. Like,
I want to be married. Like dating is so hard.
You know how to say the right things. Like a job interview.
Yeah, exactly. It's not hard to show up as your best self. And also, if there is like some qualities that producers are seeing or like, oh, I can see through the facade, they're like, we welcome that because it's going to be a juicy storyline.
They need a villain. And so they're going to find someone with more like villainous personality traits or qualities. Well, I think about this where So during the Love is Blind casting process, you have to submit photos of yourself. Even though casting is doing these interviews with you, you have to submit photos of yourself, like whether it's of your body, or photos that give more of your personality. So like photos of you traveling or with family or friends.
And remember how as the process went on, they also wanted like updated photos of you, because ours was over COVID, so it took a year.
Oh my, they actually didn't ask for updates.
Oh, they were asking, I know quite a few people who had to send updated pictures too.
Oh, interesting. No, they never did. I think it's because they were like, we need one East Asian and it's you. They're like, regardless of how you look like right
You're
now,
like please be available.
They're like, you are coming on this show. But Shake told us during filming, like we were talking about the casting process together. We were just like, having downtime. Shake showed us the photos that he submitted, and it's him with a girl's butt. Yes. Like, was he kissing it?
It was like right by his face. Yeah. And then there was another girl, right? It was two girls.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like a very provocative photo.
Yeah. If you saw this photo, you would think like, okay, Shake's a player. He's not that serious. He's not mature for love, but they still chose him. Yeah. So I don't think like casting directors are like, oh, we're looking for just really nice, mature, sweet men. No, like they're going to get like some crazy men on this show and women.
They want an interesting character, and they also want to, I feel like, find some balance between villains and heroes. And then there's people who fall along that spectrum. I feel like they just want to find people that are interesting at this point. As the seasons go on, you can't just have boring people on. And I kind of understand that. It just sucks because I'm rooting for love stories.
And not when we say boring people, like we're just saying like normal people, like sweet, nice, not narcissistic, not egotistic, just very mature people. But unfortunately, that is boring on TV.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, think about Taylor and Garrett from season 7 and also Amy and Johnny from season 6. I wouldn't say they're boring. They're just very sweet people and mature people. But in reality TV, they're boring.
Yeah,
because like, they don't really give anything. I think we're boring when it comes to reality TV. But we don't have the personalities of like, we don't have crazy hand motions. We don't like say things out of turn. You know what I'm saying? Just it's boring. So like I totally hear the woman in that TikTok. It sucks that one of the men is known to like treat women horribly and he's a main cast member on the show. So people are alleging that it's Ben who is on the main cast of season 8. But ultimately, like that's what makes really good reality TV. And Love is Blind is not this experiment show. It is a reality TV show.
Absolutely. Like, it's hiding behind the concept of the experiment, but at the end of the day, it's just a dating show with very unique characters.
What's going to be super interesting is, according to the trailer, they address that TikTok on the show. So one of the women says, there's this girl on TikTok, she's crying, I need you to tell me. So I guess they're going to talk about it.
See, that's a new thing I feel like they're introducing into the Love is Blind world is social media. And like being able to talk about what's going on in that realm, because it does make a huge difference. And
they used to ignore it on our season. Like there was a lot happening on social media and being talked about, and production at the time like completely ignored it. They're like, we're not bringing it up, blah, blah, blah. But now I feel like they're like, we have to, because
because they can't ignore it, and the public wants answers from that perspective, because it is such a large piece of reality TV now, and social media plays such a big role. And especially with like season 8 that's coming out, like there's nowhere to hide. And I think this TikToker was talking about how Minneapolis is like such a small town or city. It's a city, but like
it's small.
It's just like Chicago. Like the fact that there was people on our cast that we knew, I feel like I'm like, oh.
I feel like a lot of people just know each other. Yeah. And so there's tons of TikToks of women saying like, I know a few men on this cast, like I've dated them. So I don't think we've ever really seen that in previous seasons, but it is super interesting just how many TikToks are being made before this season comes out about like, I know Tia about so-and-so. And I realized like definitely the social media culture around Love is Blind has now changed, because I've never seen it like this, like where people are like, I know like the ending, or here's some tea I can spill about this person before the show comes out. I've just never seen that in previous seasons.
Yeah. And also people are just like loose-lipped now too, because obviously when they're filming a show like that, they kind of like catch on that it's something big. And Love is Blind, like there's nowhere to hide with it. Like I remember like when previous seasons were coming out, like there'd be like a few TikToks here and there being like, I think they're filming Love is Blind. And like they catch on. Now it's like people just know, especially if it's in their town or city. It's just like hard to miss. And there's a lot of tea. They're like, oh, I know somebody.
Someone made a TikTok like a couple of months ago before Love is Blind season 8 was even announced, or they even knew that Minnesota would be the next season, of the women from this season filming outside of a bridal shop. And so I already knew who the main cast members would be.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The world is changing with it. And obviously Love is Blind
because no one did that for Chicago.
No. And Love is Blind is becoming such a big franchise too, that like I think TikTokers and random people who see it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is my chance to get a few views, to make some content and get their little, I would say 5 minutes of fame and not 15 for them. But like even just this girl, I noticed that her TikTok had like 216K likes on it. Like that's insane.
Got like millions of views.
Yeah. I'm like, interesting. There's nowhere to hide, friends.
Yeah. But going back to like the cast, I am really excited about this season. I'm not gonna lie, this cast looks very like Minnesotan. Like when I think about Minnesota, I was like, you guys all look like you're from Minnesota.
That's so funny because I don't see it.
Like I just feel like their cast photos, the way they're dressed, I was like, yes, very Midwest. Think about the Dallas season. Everyone was so like glammed up. I was like, yes, this screams like Texas.
Yeah.
But I feel like with like a true Minnesota season, it's like everyone's kind of more subdued, like us.
Yeah.
Like no one was like fully glammed up.
No, I didn't even know how to do makeup.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of our season. Like you just,
a lot of people,
like, whatever.
A lot of people were trolling the photographers for Love is Blind though. They're like, is there a low budget for the pictures? And I'm like, honestly, I hated our photos and how they were edited. So
yeah,
on that bandwagon.
There's definitely a Photoshopper up in there, and they're not good 100%. At their jobs.
It's so bad. I'm like, who approved these? They should have a second string of people approving this shit because
we should be the second string. I was like, I want to approve my own photo.
Please, can I just submit one, please? I'm like, oh, it was so bad. But honestly, I am not getting attached to any cast member because more often than not, they're not a good person on the show, or they got a bad edit, or you know what I mean? So I'm like not speculating on what my favorite is or what my least favorite is, because how can you tell with the picture anyways?
Yeah.
So,
and again, more than half of these people aren't going to make main cast. We do know who the main cast is. They're obviously shown in the trailer. There have been very little instances where someone is a main cast member who is not in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like everyone you see in the trailer most likely is the main cast members, and you won't see the other people ever again.
There's very few cast members. Maybe they say something like really out of pocket that makes it juicy for the trailer. And I'm like, oh, that's all we'll see of them on the entire show. So don't even worry about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I did see that one of the season 8 cast members who was introduced in the season 7 reunion is actually a main cast member, the guy with longer hair.
Yes. Oh, were we wrong about that?
Yeah, I thought that they would never like have a main cast member be introduced during the reunion, but I guess he's part of the main cast.
Watch him be like one of the couples that gets married too.
I know.
We were so confident that they were
he could
like
be a villain. Who knows?
Who knows?
But I'm very excited because we're in the Midwest. I love a little Midwest season.
Same.
I feel like Midwest people are always like first like kind of subdued in the beginning, but there's always that like one or two people that are just like so wild, but then they slowly just get a little bit like a little rowdy. So I'm excited.
I'm so excited for this season, only because I have high hopes for it.
Okay, so we have been talking about this topic, I feel like, for months now. But people were like, we need your latest takes on the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively drama. Look, I have no takes. There's so much going on that I can't keep up. And it's so overwhelming as someone who doesn't really care about the situation. I don't know either of them, obviously. And it's just a lot. Like, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, I swear every time I open any type of social media app, there's something new going on with this case, or there's like a new set of evidence, or like Justin Baldoni's team has like released some sort of footage, or some sort of text messages. But there's a new player in the game, and it's Ryan Reynolds.
I know.
I am freaking out about it, and like just the connections with it all and how he probably is the common denominator to all of the issues. And it allegedly. And it kind of makes sense to me. There is nothing worse than a jealous husband with an ego and lots of money and power because that's kind of what this entire case feels like to me.
Yeah. Like people are saying that Ryan is jealous of Justin because maybe Justin and Blake, like some feelings developed there. Ooh. And yeah, Ryan is just being insecure and now like really going against Justin out of insecurity and jealousy, which I mean, who knows? That's just a theory. There's so many out there. Like other people are saying that Colleen Hoover, who wrote the book that It Ends With Us is based on, like she kind of wanted this to happen so she could win back the rights of the book. Like there's just a lot.
Yeah. I honestly think that's such a far-fetched thing because you could not have anticipated the drama around this entire situation, I guess. Like it really is sad because it takes away from the actual topic of the whole movie. But I noticed that Colleen Hoover got rid of her Instagram because she's probably getting so much hate and like, or just a lot of like influx of people just sending her so many comments. She's like, I got to get out of this scene.
100%. I sometimes want to delete my Instagram sometimes too. I think what's so crazy about all of this is how public opinion like just shifts so easily. All the time. Like first people were on Justin's side and then Blake filed her complaint against Justin and people were on Blake's side. Mm-hmm. And then Justin started to release all of these quote unquote receipts, cut footage from the movie, text messages, voicemails. Yes. And then people are now on Justin's side. I mean, to be honest, I kind of see why people are on Justin's side because he does seem like the underdog in this. And everything he's coming up with kind of refutes what Blake Lively said.
Yeah, there's a lot of context missing to what Blake has put out there. And like the New York Times article had so many missing pieces to it that he's kind of filling in those blanks.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also team Justin, which I hate to say that, but like I really am. Just based on what I've seen on social media. But that's what's crazy about the whole situation is there is just so much out there and it's up for people's opinion. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the public has so many opinions about it because all the evidence is so unclear.
I'm team no one, but I understand why people are team Justin. The only reason is like, I don't know what to believe anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, yes, Justin has put out things there that make Blake look really bad. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I don't know, what if it's out of context? Like we have been in positions where our exes have like put out text messages. I mean, Shane even leaked my love letter to him.
I know, I remember that.
And like, it made me look really bad, but I was like, oh my gosh, but I have so much that I could release, but not saying I am the bigger person, but I don't think I would ever like, I don't know, like release like full ass text messages. Yeah. It's like,
I just feel like there's just more context with what Justin is releasing than Blake. Yeah. Blake's just seemed very like calculated in what she put out. That's why I'm team Justin.
Same with Justin, right?
But no, Justin has it's giving more full story though.
I don't know.
Again, in my opinion, I think that he's giving a bigger picture than what Blake did.
I think it's all about perspective. This whole thing, I feel like, in terms of what sways public opinion, is like more so from like a PR perspective of like, what are you going to release that tells a story?
Yeah.
Everything that Justin has released tells a better story about how Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who are super rich, like super popular in Hollywood, are just trying to go against him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's easy to root for the underdog and it just tells a better story. Yeah. And I like his story too.
I mean, it's not even just a story though, because I feel like there's a lot of pieces where you're right. Like Justin is the underdog, like him being sent to the basement of his own movie premiere when he's the director is absolutely insane to me. How would that even happen?
Yeah.
I just think that there's so much that evidence that is like supporting Justin. And I think, yes, of course it's a PR play, but if Ryan Reynolds and Blake had anything else, I feel like they would absolutely be using it and spewing it out to media. They have the money to do it and they have the power to do it. And I just feel like it's really putting them in a really bad negative light. And even if you look at some of the promo clips, like why is Ryan Reynolds involved in any of the promo clips?
So true.
He's not even part of the 100%. Movie.
I think the only reason I'm playing devil's advocate, even though I never play devil's advocate, is because I think about like, not that we can remotely relate to the situation, but I think like 1% we kind of can. when our season just premiered and our exes were just putting a lot of shit about us in the media. And what did Netflix and Kinetic Content PR say to us? They're like, just stay quiet.
Yep.
Like, you don't need to address it, just stay quiet. And sometimes I wish I didn't stay quiet.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I was just like, oh, really? Well, here is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the difference is...
So I wonder if they're being told to stay quiet to be like more classy.
Doubt it, because they're the ones who even initiated this whole thing. Justin would not have been provoked to release anything had they not started it first. Because the New York Times article was the first thing.
But it started because really I feel like she did it actually in retaliation to what she felt like was Justin's PR team trying to ruin her reputation because everyone was
allegedly. Who knew if that was even happening?
But I'm just saying,
who knows?
Yes, that kind of made it bigger, that New York Times article. But I wonder if she was just like, what the, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but honestly, it's so hard to tell what's coming from where. Like, what is the source of anything these days?
That's why I don't have an opinion.
I have a huge opinion. I am team Justin Baldoni, baby.
Look, I don't really like Blake Lively, especially because of how she feels so out of touch. I look at her past interviews and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman thinks she is funny and she's actually just straight up mean. Oh my gosh, wait. People said that about me during Love is Blind season 2.
No, dude, her interviews are so bad. You can even tell her coworkers or co-stars are like so sick of her just like yapping away about God knows what. She's always like promoting some sort of brand. It's wild to me. But the one thing that really stands out to me and why I really dislike her is the interview when the entire Gossip Girl cast is doing like a panel, and there was a joke made about something about like cages, and she's like, oh, like one of us came from a cage, saying that Leighton Meester.
Oh yes, because
she was born in prison.
Yeah. Her mom was in prison when
which is insane to me. That is so messed up.
Yeah.
So she's been doing shit like this for so long, and because she's just such a big star, like people are like, okay, well, what are we gonna do about it?
Well, she's mostly married to a big star.
I know.
So.
That's why I wholeheartedly believe in karma, and I think it is coming to bite her in the ass because if you've been such a bad person for this long, something's got to give eventually. And Justin was just the straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion.
Ooh, Deepti's in a revenge era right now with
pissed.
this.
I'm mad at her. Like, I don't know why, but I don't know. I just feel like there's so much evidence against these two huge stars.
I think I'm more on Justin's side for sure, but I'm like, I'm not going to make an opinion because I just want to see what else comes out.
Yeah.
First, I was on Blake's side a little bit when she filed her complaint, and now I'm on Justin's. But I was like, you know what? I just need to see what plays out in court and what is revealed in court.
Yeah.
And it sucks because their court date is in March 2026.
I know. Isn't that insane?
More than a year from now.
I know. But you're totally right, though, because who cares about public opinion? Obviously, it matters.
It matters for sure.
It matters.
It's the thing that matters the most.
But at the end of the day, it is what's going to persuade public opinion the most is what legally happens. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of like opinions out there, but I think legally you have to make a good case. And it has to play out in court for it to be like a solidified, oh my gosh, this is exactly what happened. This is who's liable for it. This is how much there's a settlement, or this is how much is going to get paid out. I think that's going to be like the ultimate deciding factor of where the public's opinion lies at the end of the day.
We'll just have to see. So that's what I'm waiting for before I make a full opinion on whose side I am on, because it has shifted so much that I was like, I just want to see more.
Yep.
I want to see the full context.
Oh, you want to see more?
Even though I'm sick of it, but I was like, I'm invested, but I'm sick of it.
I'm so invested. But there are moments where I'm like, okay, this is too much for me now.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much new shit coming out.
And I can't keep track of the timeline. And then Justin and his lawyer also launched a website that has like more like evidence, receipt, like all this shit, a timeline of events. And
receipts.
And I went to it and opened one of the documents, and it was so long. I was like, I just can't.
That's why
I need someone to like recap for me.
That's why I shout out to all of the lawyers out there on TikTok who are like debriefing us, because you are a true hero. I love you for reading these legal documents and giving us the tea.
Also, fun fact though, how Love is Blind kind of relates to this case. So one of Justin's lawyers, Brian Friedman, he's the one who's like going to the media, like talking a bunch of shit about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. He actually represents Renee from Love is Blind season 5. So she was on this podcast, but we already talked about her. She's the one who was cut out of the season. She was with a very emotionally abusive fiance on the show, allegedly. His name was Carter, and he's representing her in her case against Kinetic Content and Netflix. So
I was like, bring out the big dogs.
I know. And I was like, okay, so he's huge.
Yeah. But it sucks how long it takes the court system to even start a trial or like, I was like, move forward in the case.
I want to know now. I want this to end in court right now.
Yeah. What do you mean I have to wait a whole year for this?
I know. I was like, what? And also the thought of like, this is going to go on for another year, like all this media stuff.
Yes. Oh, I hope it's like a public trial. I wonder, because I mean, not that I would be watching it, but I can't wait for other people to cover it and give us the tea.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting. Talking about public opinion, have you seen the Call Her Daddy episode with Rachael Kirkconnell? She was dating Matt James, who was the Bachelor. So we talked about this last week. I am so sat for this interview. I watched the whole thing and it was so interesting just how public opinion can change based on the facts and the context out there, because she went on the episode and basically talked about their whole relationship. And I feel really bad for Matt James because he not only has he lost a lot of followers, but people very much dislike him right now. And it's insane to me. He used to have 1 million followers and he is now down to 960K. So he's lost probably over 50K followers in the matter of weeks.
And Rachel's at 1.2. She started at a little less than 1 million and she gained 200,000 followers in a matter of days.
Insane.
Since doing this Call Her Daddy interview. But it's so crazy because I've never seen so much public attention for a reality TV show relationship and breakup.
Yeah, it's normally not common. I feel like we don't see it with the Love is Blind couples when they get divorced. But I think this one is really big because they were such a power couple, or it seemed
on
so.
social media,
And they're
super cute. I even love them together.
Yeah, and I think everyone was rooting for them to hit the next step of their relationship, which is obviously an engagement.
And they talked about it. Like they would talk about it in interviews and in their comments being like, oh, like we're going to start a family. Like we're going to get engaged.
Yeah, which is, I think that's what is the most shocking part about this whole breakup is that I think everyone knew or thought that they were going to head in that direction. But the fact that it went the opposite, I think it's like created such interest in knowing exactly what happened. And honestly, the tea is not that hot. Like they just had a fight. And it almost seems like they're just incompatible. But I think what's the hardest part of this news to digest is the fact that Matt kind of led Rachael on. They were talking about wedding rings. They were talking about like wedding venues and caterers. And he was apparently also leaving comments on random posts being like, oh, an engagement is coming. So I just feel like he was leading her on.
No, he 100% was. And people are like, yeah, he was an avoidant and just like ended it and like wasted 4 years of her time. And I totally get him being villainized because when I watched the interview too, I was like, oh my gosh, like Matt reminds me of so many men who just like waste women's time.
Yes. It's really frustrating because like talking to somebody about wedding things and also talking about building a family together and having kids, like having open conversations about that, but having no intention to actually follow through, I think is like really heartbreaking. And also, why is he feeding into all the speculations that they're going to get engaged? Like it makes absolutely no sense. And Rachael in the interview said that the reason why they broke up was because when they were in Japan, she wanted to find the perfect restaurant to film content, because that's their whole thing is they go to different places around the world and film food content.
That's specifically Matt's. Like that is Matt's social media niche is like he's like now trying to be like a food content blogger.
Yeah, exactly. And so she kind of had the pressure of choosing the perfect place. And when they got there, it was a disappointment. Like the food wasn't great. And so she was kind of emotional. And this was so relatable. She was like, I had just started my period. I like wasn't feeling the best. Yeah. And on top of that, I picked a terrible restaurant and I knew that it was important to him and I didn't want to disappoint him. And that's why, you know, I was kind of upset. And so she was like, 2 teardrops fell down my face and that was it. Like it was fine. But that kind of led to kind of opening the can of worms, apparently, to talking about their relationship. And that's why they broke up.
Yeah.
And he said something about how she didn't have the qualities he was looking for in a wife, because if she gets upset about small things like this, what if something big happens? Like, how upset is she going to be? And I was like, okay,
it's because he has never experienced a period.
Yes.
Okay.
Please. Thank you. Like, we get so emotional during our periods and it's just like an uncomfortable time. Not that that like excuses anything though, because regardless if she was on her period or not, just saying those words to somebody is like a dagger in the heart. I don't have qualities that you're looking for in a wife.
I know. And she's probably like, we've been together for 4 years. And what, is this just a realization you just came to right now?
Exactly. And that's my thing. He probably didn't come to that realization just then. You know what I mean? Like, for you to have thoughts like that, it must have been lingering for a long time, but he just kept like going on with the relationship and giving her false hope.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. It's like, it's okay to have thoughts like that and ending a relationship. I mean, like, actually, we're incompatible or this isn't what I want. But he was literally commenting less than 24 hours before he posted his breakup post, responding to people on social media, like things related to an engagement, wedding food, things like that. So like he was very much leading her on. I do feel kind of bad for Matt James on the side because it's not like he cheated or did anything like horrific. Though, yes, he did treat her not well. I think he's just getting so much backlash and it just seems like it was kind of a normal breakup at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what is crazy about public relationships, because when you break up, people are going to pick a side. And people have picked Rachel's side. And I think it's not even about side. It's all about just like, okay, this is what happened. Obviously, Rachel went on Call Her Daddy, which is a huge platform. And Matt hasn't really said much yet.
Probably because he's in the wrong.
Well, the first wrong thing he ever did was post that breakup in the way that he did. It was so insensitive to her. And especially doing it so quickly after they broke up. I think that's just like really disrespectful. Rachel did say in the interview, she was like, if he hadn't posted that, who knows, like things might be different, because I'm assuming that means that they've probably broken up in the past and it's been okay. They've been able to talk about it. But she's like, now that he broke up with me and then also posted about it, it makes it so permanent. Yeah. Like we can't come back from that.
Good.
Yes.
He did her a favor.
Yes.
Okay. I love Rachel. I know her obviously. But what was really surprising is like in the interview, she came off like she has very low confidence in herself. And I think that's something common people are saying like from this interview, like, oh my gosh, she is so beautiful. Like Rachel is beautiful.
Stunning.
And it's crazy just like how insecure she is and she has low confidence. And I don't know, it's kind of like an eye opener, right? Like when we look at like really beautiful, conventionally attractive people, we think like, you know, they probably have like such high confidence. Like they could get anyone they want. And like watching her, I was like, I think felt sad, but also realized like feeling like insecure, having low confidence, especially in a relationship, it's very much like, it doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone.
Yeah. And it shows also how relationships can kind of break you down. Yeah. And your partner has to be uplifting. And if you're in a wrong relationship that's not right for you, it can really bring you down. Because she talks about that in the interview where she said like the first year of their relationship when they got back together, that she was extremely insecure because she felt like, oh, like Matt is a star. He was the Bachelor. He has all these amazing qualities. He could have any girl. In fact, like 30 plus women were fighting for his love. And I'm just like a random contestant. And she said that like when they would go out, everyone would be like, oh my gosh, it's Matt James. Oh my gosh. And then oh, and it's Rachael. So she kind of felt that power difference apparently.
Oh my gosh.
And so she kind of speaks to that and how she felt really insecure in the relationship. And she talked about how like even when they would fight, she felt it was very one-sided. She almost had to always be the person apologizing, even though she's the one who was upset in the first place. He kind of twisted the situation and her words to somehow make it her fault. And she's like, oh, is there something lacking in me?
Yeah.
And that broke my heart when she said that. And she was like, had to remind herself, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I need to stop saying that. So I think like this relationship really broke her, and you can see it. And that's what really sucks about being with the wrong person.
For so long too.
Yes.
And not having the self-confidence to like end it and move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even from the tone of how she was explaining it, she was very respectful towards Matt, actually. But the fact that she was like, if he hadn't posted, maybe there would have been hope. And we're like, no. Thank God he posted.
I know.
Because what if she kept going back? You know?
I know. It would have like totally broken her. You're totally right. But yeah, I think that's why like this whole breakup is getting so much attention is because it's so relatable. We have all been there, like protecting a guy. I don't know, just having like low confidence and blaming yourself a little bit at the time. And she was protecting Matt a lot, but I get it because they just broke up and she still loves him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we have been there too in our public relationships where like we protect the people we were with for that time right after a breakup because we still love them.
Yeah.
It's just so relatable. We've all, most of us have like experienced that.
Yeah. And it's like, and I think another added level of relatability is that nothing bad happened. Like no one cheated. It wasn't like a huge horrific fight. It's the fact that it's like, okay, we want to get to the next level and they're on completely different pages.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's
so
really hard.
incompatible.
But I do have to say, like, you know how you mentioned like, oh my God, Rachael is so stunning. She's beautiful. She has so much to offer. I think that you can tell when somebody is an energy vampire in a relationship. For example, like even when I was in a relationship with that ex of mine for like 6+ years, I felt a glow up as soon as he left. Like I looked better. I like took care of myself better. It's like when someone's not sucking your energy out of you, you just like shine so much more brightly. I don't know.
You want to talk about energy vampires?
I'm telling you, it makes such a difference. And she's going to feel it. I feel like she's already like shining more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I was with an energy vampire, and let me tell you, I remember a month after that relationship ended, I was like, I feel like a new person, and what the fuck was I doing? She'll have that realization.
She will.
It's fresh now because again, she probably still loves him. It's really hard, especially if you're the one that got dumped. Like you still have those like feelings and can't believe like, oh my gosh, it's over. While the other person was probably kind of thinking about it for a little bit.
That's the part that sucks because I feel like she thinks that something is lacking in her because that's kind of how he's presented the situation in the breakup. Like, hey, like you're going to make somebody a beautiful wife and like you're going to be, you're going to find a partner who appreciates you. But for me, you're just not that person. That is like the biggest dagger to the heart. Oh my gosh,
that's so hard to hear.
Yes, like what do you mean I don't have the qualities? Like you question yourself, but yeah, you're totally right. She'll jump out of it and realize like the weight that's been lifted, and she can finally draw in the actual partner that she deserves.
I agree. Again, this whole story is another reminder you can't trust what you see on social media. People thought that Matt and Rachael were like the perfect couple, like they were so healthy. They had a healthy relationship and, they're so funny, but we just don't know. So don't like see couples on social media and be like, I want what they have or I need to be like them. Like you just never know.
Yeah. And social media is literally just the highlight reel of everybody's life. No one's going to be posting their fights. No one's going to be posting their, tumultuous times. And you cannot base it off of what you see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Crazy. I feel like that's been the theme of this episode. Don't trust anything you see on social media because who knows what's really happening behind the scenes.
I feel like the theme of social media is insane.
Yes.
But it's the world we live in.
It is the world we live in.
Well, let us know, Pod Besties, what you think about the Love is Blind Season 8 cast, your takes on the Blake versus Lively drama, and of course, what you thought of Rachel's interview on Call Her Daddy.
And make sure you guys leave a review and subscribe.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.